Hi, this is Zak Mir with the US Chartbreakers here at Zak's Traders Cafe for Friday, the 15th of August. Starting off with the S&P, which is looking reasonably comfortable at the highest levels. Here you can see that we're above the old 64.27 peak from the end of last month. Above that, looking for as high as 66 or even 6,700 now by the end of next month. I suppose 6,600 by the end of this month. And on the downside, the worst case at the moment would appear to be talk in Anchorage permitting down to the floor of the rising trend channel there around 63.50. Even lower than that, I suppose, would be the 50-day line, 62.20, but at the moment we're still uh, hoping that the market will remain within the post-April rising trend channel, which is basically done over the course of recent months. On to the Nasdaq, which obviously has seen the top of that channel there from back in April, 2,400. The peak just below that this week, so 30 points below. End of day close through 24,000. We could be looking at a new leg to the upside at that red January resistance line projection as high as 25,500. And we'd be looking for that by the end of next month, especially while we remain above the old record high from the turn of the month, around 23,600. On the downside, the floor of the channel and the 50-day line there at 22,700. So that's the worst we're expecting at the moment. Moving on to the stocks and quite a few hot situations today. The first one is uh, coming up in the form of Aeries technology. And here you can see that we've gapped up through both the 50 and 200-day moving averages. Above that 50-day line, we're looking for shares to head to the top of the rising trend channel base at $1.60 and hoping for that by the end of this month. Ideally, there's no end of day close back below the 50-day line at 96 cents. Next up, is a situation which hopefully will be a bullish or ongoing bullish situation. We've got a broadening triangle there, top of the triangle there, as high as $70. We're looking for that hopefully over the course of the rest of this month, especially while we're above the top of the recent gap there and basically yesterday's support area at $53. Ideally, there's now no end of day close back below June resistance at $57 ahead of a move to at least $70. What stock which is becoming a firm favorite at the moment is here in the form of Cognition. Here, the reason it's a favorite is because it exceeded our ambitious rising trend channel target there around the $1.55 level. Above that, we're looking for a fresh leg to the the upper parallel of that rising trend channel from back in September last year, heading for $2.40, and we're looking for that by the end of this month. The ideal scenario is that we stay on the right side of at least $1.50 in the meantime. Moving on to Dogness, which we have looked at before, I think before the rug pull that we had at the beginning of July, end of June. Here we've got what looks like a decent U-shaped turnaround. We were above recent resistance on the way down and neckline resistance around the $11 mark. Above that, we're looking for the top of that falling trend channel, $26 as soon as the end of next month. Nice developments at Inspire at the moment, and here you can see why, in the sense that we've had a sharp gap to the upside. The only thing missing at the moment is that we haven't had an end of day close through the 50-day moving average at 101, rather $1.18. Above that, then we'll be looking for at least the old uh, May June support area towards $1.45 by the end of next month. Ideally, there is no break back below support on the way down around the 90 cents mark. One of the stars of the show over the course of this summer has been Newegg, and here we're on our third target now, having hit the top of that rising trend channel base from March around the $73 mark, above the next target there, which has already been hit at 108, looking for as high as $160 by the end of next month. Maybe a little bit more than that, depending on exactly where that line is, but it looks like $160 is on its way while we're above 108. Moving along to OneMedNet, where we are looking for the top of that rising trend channel there, $1.30. You could argue that the top of the channel is actually rather higher, up to $1.70. But in the meantime, we're going for, or at least initially, we're going for a more modest target, especially given the way that hopefully support here will come in at the old June peak around the 90 cents mark, and there is no end of day close back below that to give us a move up to $1.30, hopefully by the end of this month. Onto a stock which I think we covered earlier this week, RumbleOn, and here pictures of a stock which has managed to break through the main resistance there around $2.85. Above that, looking for the top of the rising trend channel of $5 plus by the end of next month, and hoping that we'll have a pretty quick clearance of that falling 200-day moving average at $3.66 in the meantime. On to the last two. The first one is Sonama, and here we had a spike towards the top of that rising trend channel base there from August. That is around the $7.10 level. I'd like to see the shares remain above the post-March resistance here around $4.50. Above that on an end-of-day close basis, we could hopefully zigzag back to $7 plus by the end of this month. Covered TeraWulf quite a few times in the past, and here you can see that it's finally having its day in the sun, especially yesterday. Current situation is that we're looking for the shares to hit the top of that rising trend channel there at $10.70, hoping for that well before the end of this month, especially while we're above resistance on the way down at $7. So hopefully the shares will step up to the plate. Double RSI rebound near the neutral 50 level to start August, so the shares should be on their way. That's it for me today. More updates over the weekend.